Okay, so this is episode one of a podcast that uh, at this moment is nameless. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. I don't know what this is going to be about, but I was recording a song on FL Studio and I was just kind of yapping to the microphone at some point. I mean, not at some point. I'm already talking like a cornball. I was recording a song and then I stopped it because I couldn't come up with anything to say. And then I just realized that I could just talk to my microphone like in another way than just like making a song. Like I could just be sitting here talking like a podcast, right? So I kind of fucked around with the mixing of the vocal track, and I made it sound a little bit more radio like. And I'm saying this is like 15 years ago, literally a minute ago. And now I decided to record myself talk to my microphone. Um, and yeah, um, I just talked for like 10 minutes to my microphone about being writing blocked and that people probably don't know what writing block even means. Like people that don't write songs or don't write stories or whatever don't really understand how you could be unable to write something. And I don't know if I want to talk about that again, but I could kind of get into it a little bit. I was writing this song and I've been kind of struggling like finding words to say. Like I have things on my mind that I want to say and I know I want to say them. I just don't know I can't articulate them, you know? Like I've had this whole idea in my head about this song called In a Home with No Doors. And I know what I want to say. It's not coming together weirdly. Um so I've been sitting here listening to my own beat. Damn, that was loud as fuck. I'm just seeing that on the wave file. Anyway, hold on. Um I was thinking about, I've been sitting here I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes trying to come up with something to say, you know, trying to rap, trying to write this song. And I literally on the page right now, it just says the name of the file, like the beat file, which was Nice While It Lasted. That's what it was called. And then I wrote, I wrote Nice While It Lasted because that's the name of the beat. So I find the file and don't forget, whatever. The name of the song that I wanted to call it, In a Room with No Doors, In a Home with No Doors, I mean. And, and then I just wrote, yeah, because I want to, start the song off with like a yeah. I don't even know. It's, that's the page. And beside that, it's just a blank page of paper. Anyway, yeah. But that's the creative process, man. Like, um, creativity is weird, man. Like, I don't really know how it works. I sometimes I don't even know if I can call myself a creative person. But I think that kind of in and of itself is kind of weird. Like, I don't. I know things like creativity or like any sort of emotion or whatever is kind of hard to explain, but whenever artists talk about like how they come up with certain things, I go, "Wow, that's really creative. Wow, that's so whatever," you know. Um, but my creative process is just kind of the things that I take in over like the course of a couple of weeks, kind of being like I just take in information for like weeks, days, or weeks, months even at a time. Maybe it's even shit that happened years ago that just kind of is festers the right word? I don't know, but that kind of manifests. Sorry, that kind of manifests in the back of my head for like months, and then kind of when the right, depending on what creatively I make, if it's like a drawing or a song or whatever, or I'm writing a story or something. that can kind of like ball up into one thing, and then I just spew it out. You know what I mean? Over a beat or in a story or whatever. And then when that's all spewed, when that's all out, my brain is just empty. So sometimes, like I've had this thing where I like don't write a song or something for like literally 2 months straight, longer even, way longer, 6 months straight up, no song. And then I think it's over. Like I'm never gonna be able to write a song again. The fact that I could ever write a song was just luck. I just whatever. And then I'll just be on YouTube like at like 3 in the morning, just watching YouTube videos, and I see like a random type beat, like a random J. Cole type, or like Kanye type beat, or like whatever, some random type beat, like it recommended to me, and then I just write like 2 verses on this beat, like straight up, like bar after bar after bar after bar. Not necessarily like fucking groundbreaking bars, but just like bars, you know what I mean? After I haven't been able to write anything for like months. And that's just like a weird, like how can that happen? Like, you know what I mean? Um that's what kind of creativity and creative process kind of confuses me, because how does something like a typey on YouTube, for example, that I don't even have like any like I didn't make that beat or whatever, how can that influence my creativity so drastically? Like, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I feel kind of silly talking about um topics like that, you know what I mean? Because I'm not like fucking Quentin Tarantino. I'm not like Michelangelo, I rap. Like, I'm really not anything special or interesting. But, at at my core I'm still like an artist, And that I have that urge to create something. I feel like I've completely lost my train of thought, but as a creative person, I have that urge to create something, but then I won't be able to for months or weeks. And then something random can affect me, like a random picture I see on Pinterest, or, you know, I mean, it's inspiration at the end of the day, but, um, can affect me into like making something that normally you would work longer on than just like, I don't know. Most of my songs that I make, I mean, I haven't put any songs out or like, whatever. At the moment, I'm mainly, making music for like myself to listen to. Not like I don't listen to my own music, but like when I make music, I don't put it out on Spotify or whatever. I just have it. But um, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Okay, I just rewinded the audio. I was talking about how most of the songs that I make kind of came from that, just kind of having an idea that is kind of festering and kind of manifesting in the back of my head, and then having something random like a picture that I see, or a song that I hear, or a type beat on YouTube again, kind of um be there's a word I'm looking for. For some reason I'm thinking of the word exodus. That is definitely not it. um be the be the thing that makes me do it. What is that called? It doesn't matter. Okay, so I was spending a couple minutes on my phone thinking about what to talk about, thinking about what to say. And then I remembered that on my phone I have a folder where I have like video ideas and story ideas kind of laid out. I thought that I could scroll through that and just kind of see if I find something interesting to talk about. Now, I decided it would be even funnier if I just scroll through it while uh just letting the microphone kind of just you know. So hold on, let me find it real quick. Okay. I think I only have shit in here that's like too too much too much story. Uh, yeah, a lot of these ideas in here are too involved. Ooh, I wrote down Shadow of the Colossus video essay. Honestly, if we departed, what? No, if I, what the fuck? What I was trying to say is that I could probably make this podcast a 1 hour yap session about Shadow of the Colossus, but I won't. But I was just thinking about um, this. I was thinking about a lot of things. First of all, I was thinking about how yesterday I was outside with a homie of mine, and we were kind of sitting, you know, we were sitting somewhere outside. Doesn't matter. I don't have to elaborate where we were sitting. We were just sitting down. It was like kind of evening, and a dude kind of like walked past us. He was like a tourist. I'm from Germany. He was like a tourist, and he spoke English, and he kind of turned to me and he told me that he liked my hair. And because in Germany you don't really anticipate people talking English to you, I was like taken aback for a second. I was like, I had to like manually kind of, turn my brain into fucking English mode for a second. And then I just said thank you and he walked past whatever. But that kind of made me think about how when I speak English, I speak weird. And I kind of want to talk about that now, I guess. Also, like, because I don't really talk English a lot. Well, that's also wrong. I think in English. I speak English a lot to myself, but I don't really speak English like loudly and like in a conversational tone. You know what I mean? Like I don't speak English the way I'm speaking English right now. I'm like home alone right now. I'm recording this podcast and I'm talking in English like I'm talking to somebody, but that I don't really do a lot because I don't talk English to people because I don't know anybody that speaks English. You know what I mean? Like I live in Germany and I speak German most of the time, if not most all the time. I speak German all the time. I've never. The last time I had a conversation with somebody in English was genuinely years ago. Like yeah, just like years ago when my English also sucked. My English sucked ass. But I'm not saying that I'm like fucking great at speaking English either. But now that I'm kind of talking to myself, talking to this podcast, whatever. Oop, my phone just vibrated. Let me just put that on. Now that I'm like speaking English at this magnitude, I guess, at this volume, See, I'm realizing how I have weird speech patterns, or I kind of slur my words sometimes. Like in my head, my English is great. Like I'm not saying that I'm like an English god, but like also I'm saying English so much that it's starting to it's becoming redundant. But like I always feel like if I went and traveled to let's say like France or something, or maybe just England, but like somewhere where I would need to speak English because I don't have any other way of communicating with people, I would be okay. But then it's also like, well, actually, I'm thinking back right now, and I'm kind of realizing I was lying. The last time I spoke English to somebody was also a tourist, I think, around the same, literally like 100 meters away from where I was sitting with my homie yesterday. But it was like this dude. We were talking about football, soccer. But that was also one of those conversations where I realized that like I have weird quirks in my speech sometimes when I speak English, um, that are kind of not weird necessarily, just like sound weird. Like earlier I said back, and I said back. I kind of said it Germanly. Um, but yeah, that's just weird like slip ups. But also, one thing that I kind of do when I speak English is that I kind of slur my words a little bit, but I don't do it on purpose. I just have like a thing. I don't know what I have necessarily, but I I I mean I do that when I speak German to my friends too. Like I slur my words a lot. I don't do it on purpose, obviously. It's just like a thing that kind of developed over the last couple of years for some reason. Maybe it's just like, I could get into this whole conversation about how COVID, ooh, can I say that word? Yeah, I can probably say that word. How COVID and, the pandemic or whatever kind of affected my generation and like social interactions and whatever. But, that maybe I just haven't had enough experience with talking to people and talking in general that maybe that kind of affected how I speak. I don't know. But yeah, um, yeah, I've kind of thought about speech therapy before. Like, I don't know what that would entail. You know what I mean? I don't know what speech therapy necessarily even is for it does for you. You know what I mean? I don't know if I could walk out of speech therapy and then speak clearly. You know what I mean? But yeah, um, back on the subject of Shadow of the Colossus though, because I've been talking about speaking English for a little bit too long now. Let me think. Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus. Hey, I don't know if everybody that sees this has ever played Shadow of the Colossus, or if Shadow of the Colossus is even something that's like common, like I don't know how popular Shadow of the Colossus is around people, but um, the game, it's a game, it's a video game, but I played it for the first time when I was like 14, maybe 15, I don't know. Yo, Shadow of the Colossus is a great fucking game, bro. I'm thinking back right now. I'm thinking back to the first scene, like the first Colossus, when you. No, I don't want to explain that. I don't want to explain that. But the first interaction that you have with a Colossus in that game, it's like you're like a little guy. His name is like Sora, and is it? Yeah, I think it is. And Sora has a horse. It's called Agro, and you like ride through this like desolate kind of beautiful nature world that has like hints to like an older civilization having lived there, but there's no signs of them anymore beside like the architecture. And you fight Colossi, I guess. Colossi are like giants and like not like giants like human giants, but like giants with like fucking fur and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. The first Colossi in that game gave me goosebumps. I remember that when you like that's not, okay. I'm gonna stop talking about Shadow of the Colossus because I'm kind of now realizing that people probably don't care. But the first Colossi, to the people that play the game, the first Colossi, when you climb up them those like walls and you get to that little like what would you call that area? Like a valley, I guess, to that valley space. And then the Colossi you anticipated to come from like in the valley, but then it's like right next to you and then like walks into frame from the right. It's fucking scary as fuck. And I remember that scaring the fuck out of me when I think I was 15 or 14 when I played that game for the first time. But yeah, whatever. That's a great video game, man. To anybody who hasn't played it, bro, Shadow of the Colossus, play it now. Yeah. I'm also now realizing how like taxing talking for longer periods of time is to my voice. Like I'm saying stuff and I can feel my voice kind of like, bro, my Adam's apple right now. Not Adam's apple, but like my throat just in general feels really tense because I've been talking for like 20 minutes, which I don't do at all. You know, I'm not really a talker, honestly. I'm not really a talker. I know that sounds kind of stupid to say about yourself, but like I don't yap a lot unless I'm like with friends and I'm like comfortable when I talk to them. But I've never talked 20 minutes at a time or 20 minutes without like a genuine like pause. Like now that I'm noticing it, like my throat is kind of tense. Yeah, not tense, but it's kind of like a throat workout. Yeah. Also, I have this thing. I don't know how much people care about this, but this podcast is low key just like a stream of consciousness. What? A stream of consciousness sort of thing. I have this thing where, well, I just run out of breath when I talk. Like, for example, right now I'm like really, I'm kind of like not out of breath, just like I don't know. It's I'm every day I realize more and more how like bad I am at talking to people and just talking in general. Like talking as a thing to do with your body, I am bad at it. You know what I mean? To switch the subject, let's talk about something. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about something else. For some reason, I'm thinking of The Simpsons right now. I don't really know why, but that's interesting though. That's interesting because now I'm thinking of The Simpsons and Shadow of the Colossus and whatever. All of these things that are kind of things that have altered my life because I like The Simpsons. I'm not like a big The Simpsons fan, but like I've watched The Simpsons when I was younger, and I remember liking that a lot. It was like one of my favorite cartoons. And one of my favorite like more adult cartoons, not like childhood cartoons. But I'm thinking about The Simpsons. I'm thinking about Shadow of the Colossus. I'm thinking about how I talk weirdly and all this stuff like English and what happened yesterday with my homie going outside, whatever. What happened? What just that guy talking to me in English and me reflecting over how I speak, whatever, all that stuff. And that kind of ties into what I was talking about in the start with how things will kind of fester. I don't know if I'm using that word right. I keep saying it, but how things will like fester in your head and then kind of because I've been talking for 25 minutes and things will kind of just manifest and fester and whatever in the back of your head for mad long until they kind of all come out. Like I haven't talked to Shadow of the Colossus. What? I haven't talked to Shadow of the Colossus. I haven't talked about Shadow of the Colossus to anybody or ever anything. Like I've never like I like Shadow of the Colossus so much as a thing, but I've never been able to talk about that. That's an interesting thought to have. Like there's a lot of things in the world, just period, like that I don't that I care about a lot and that are like big parts of my life that I haven't been able to give an outlet to. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of things that I care a lot about. Like I really love Dragon Ball and the art in the Dragon Ball manga, the story of Dragon Ball, the characters. Rest in peace to uh Akira Toriyama, by the way. But I've never gotten the chance to talk about Dragon Ball to anybody or just to talk about Dragon Ball in general because nobody cares. And that low key is the reason why I'm recording this right now, so I can get those thoughts from the back of my mind out. You know what I mean? Damn, that's a cool feeling to have right now. That as I said in the start of this, like I didn't really know where this was going. I was just gonna start talking, and now I've been sitting here in my room just talking to myself for like the last 30 minutes, basically. But yeah, just to have, I forgot what I was talking about. I had to stop the recording real quick and catch my breath and edit that out. The fact that my monitor just turned off because I was yapping for so long. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. I didn't expect this to be that long. Normally, I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts too. Ooh, another thing that I've never talked to anybody about that I like a lot is listening to podcasts. I like this German podcast. I like The Basement Yard, which is like some comedy podcast. I think y'all know who The Basement Yard is, maybe. I don't know. But they're funny. I kind of put them on, for background noise and stuff. Shout out to them. You know, I don't talk. That makes me kind of reflect right now. That makes me reflect about a lot of things in my life that I enjoy or like care about deeply that you just don't talk about, like podcasts that you listen to or whatever. Like, bro, The Basement Yard, as a podcast, I've been listening to them for like the last genuinely 4 years of my life. Like, I want to say every day, maybe not 4 years, maybe like two and a half years, stuff like that. maybe like every day, because I listen to podcasts a lot when I try to fall asleep, and I listen to the Basement Yard a lot when I try to, go to sleep. So the Basement Yard, talking about another podcast on the podcast is so funny. Um, the Basement Yard is like a big thing in my head, right? Because like not only consciously but also like subconsciously, like I'm going to sleep listening to this podcast, right? Like I don't, not every day, especially not recently. I've been trying to kind of I've been trying to kind of stop listening to podcasts or whatever when I fall asleep. But basically, for the last 2 years, also basically every night, I listen to this podcast. So the information from the podcast, the things that they talk about, et cetera, are like kind of manifesting and accumulating in the back of my head. But I never talk about this podcast to anybody or like let out that information. Like I take all this information in, but I never let it out. So I'm not a like fuck I'm not anybody. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I feel like that probably has an impact on your mental health, right? Or not your mental health, but like your brain in general, right? Your like your memory or something. Like that's yeah, probably. I don't know. But yeah, I was just Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I'm not even gonna edit that out. I'm gonna leave that in. One thing that I also do, not only do I slur my words and have weird speech patterns, but I also stutter hard. Like for some reason, somehow I've been able to get through these last 30 minutes without stuttering. I'm starting to feel it kick in that I'm probably going to be starting to stutter a lot. I don't know what to say about that. I just stutter. It just happens. Maybe if I put this out anywhere, maybe y'all can educate me in the comments. Stuff like that, like a podcast that you listen to every day, or a show. Ooh, that's also a good example. Like a show that you watch every day because there's like a bunch of episodes or something. When you take in all of that information of that show or that podcast or whatever, and you never let out that information, like you never talk to somebody about that show that you're watching at the moment or the podcast that you listen to or whatever, do y'all think that has an effect on your mental, or on your like head, brain, mind stuff? you know, because I'm thinking about that right now, and it probably does. But yeah, um, I hate how podcasts end. Like I hate for some reason every time. Like I hate when this is so specific and like me. This is so like me specific. But I hate when podcasts, when you can hear in the way that they talk that they're about to end the episode. You know what I mean? So like when I just went, yeah, well, I think I'm gonna end it here. That made me kind of realize that that sucks. So you know what? I'm gonna keep the podcast going for like another minute. Just, a little extra, a little bonus, a little whatever. This is random. I didn't expect to spontaneously record a podcast, talk about Shadow of the Colossus and the Basement Yard. I don't know. But yeah. And about how I speak and about my stuttering and stuff. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. I hope this podcast as of right now remains nameless, but I might come up with something. I don't know. Um, and I completely forgot that I was recording a song. Jesus Christ. Did I say that at the start of the episode that I was like recording a song and then I kind of just started the start of the recording because I didn't know what to talk about? Yeah, I talked about that. Yeah. I could really benefit off of making a podcast with somebody else because I'm a horrible. I don't know how people remember stuff that they talk about. I know I was gonna wrap it up, but I'm gonna say this as the last thing. Podcasts are cool. I like. I love. Yeah, I love podcasts as a medium. But not only am I not a good speaker, but also I'm extremely forgetful. Like short term memory basically does not exist. It's kind of like an ADHD thing. I don't want to diagnose myself, but it's like the thing where like people with ADHD, they say like they go into the kitchen and then they're in the kitchen and they forget why they went there in the first place. Stuff like that. See, I already forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for listening. This all right, that's what I was talking about. This podcast does remain nameless for now. I might come up with a name, might not, I don't know. Probably I don't even know if I'll put this out anywhere, but yeah. Um thank you for listening though. I don't know how long people will stay. The market of podcasts in general is pretty oversaturated, so I don't even know if people are willing to like listen to 30, probably 38 minutes of me talking about whatever, when there's like other podcasts that are like actually funny and like actually have substance. Maybe people care. I don't know. I said that I was going to wrap this up 7 minutes ago. I'm still talking. Yeah, thank you for listening. Maybe put some name suggestions in the comments. I don't know. And I'm probably now gonna eat something. I'm probably gonna make myself. I don't know. Hey, that's yeah. Thank you for listening.